All right, so 711 advanced log equations. There are 10 problems in this homework. Okay, so we're going to try to do some for you guys today. I know we haven't done that for the last 3 lessons, right? I've kind of done my own little examples here and there. But right now, since I know these take a little bit more time, we'll work on these together. Okay, so these homework problems together. So we're going to start off with the easier of the harder type questions. Okay, so stuff like what you see on number 2. All right. So there's nothing new that I have to do with these. I don't have to teach you any new properties or anything. We already know the properties, right? Notice for number 2, log base 3 of something is equal log base 3 of something else. So you guys should be aware, since it both say log base 3, that means that I can set the inside portions equal to each other, right? So those are just properties you're supposed to be aware of already. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite the question really quick. So here it is. Now, according to the property that I just discussed, since they both say log base 3, then all you have to do is set the insides equal to each other. Okay, so there you go. Now you notice how one of those variables has a squared term. Usually when you have a variable that has a squared term, that means you're going to have to do the x method to factor. Okay, this is what makes these a little tougher, because you haven't done that in the other homework problems. You usually just had to solve for x really quick and you were done. Here, you're going to have to factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5x and I'm going to add 1 at the same time, okay? I know that's kind of weird, but I'm going to do them at the same time. So this is going to be x squared plus 5x, and then negative 37 plus 1 is a negative 36. I'm adding both of those terms, okay, individually. I know it looks like one big thing, but I'm just adding both over to the side. Remember, you want to set things equal to 0 because that allows you to do your factor, right? So let's go ahead and factor x squared plus 5x minus 36. So here we go. So on the top, what should I write? Thank you, negative 36. And on the bottom, a 5, okay? So the top is your a times c. Here's your a right here, that's a 1. Your c is a negative 36. On the bottom is your b term, which would be a positive 5, right? So once we do that, we think of 2 numbers that multiply to negative 36 that add up to 5. What 2 numbers are those? One is negative, one is positive. Negative 4, positive 9. Thank you. Do I have to divide 4 and 9? No, because remember, you only divide if the number right here is not a 1, okay? But it is a 1. It's a equal to 1, so we're good. So here we go. I'm going to write down x minus 4, x plus 9 equal to 0. Remember, once you do that, you set up 2 separate equations, right? So I'm going to kind of drag that over here. We're going to set up 2 separate equations. One that, whoops, I don't know what happened there. X minus 4 equal to 0. X plus 9 equal to 0. So I'm going to solve. If I add 4 to both sides, I get x equal to 4. If I subtract 9 from both sides, I get x equal to negative 9. Now, remember what I told you guys about logs and natural logs. You have to check to make sure that your answer does not result in a negative value inside. So I got to check both answers here. Okay? Again, I know that's annoying, but it is part of it, because if maybe it's not both that are our solutions here. Because notice, here's our solution right here, but then B is saying, what if 4 is not allowed? Right? So which one is it, B or D? So let's try plugging in a 4 into my equation. So x squared minus 37 right here. Okay, you see this right here and right here? I'm going to plug them into those. So 4 squared minus 37 will be one of them. Okay, that is 16 minus 37. That's a negative 21. Can I have a negative number as my result for my check step? No. So that means this is not a good answer. My check step has to be positive for both. It already failed for one. I don't have to check the other one. So if I did check it for negative 5x minus 1, it still would be negative 21. But still negative. Let's try the negative 9. So if I try negative 9 into x squared minus 37, so negative 9 squared minus 37, that's 81 minus 37. And that would be, what is that, 44? So that's good. That's a positive answer. But now we got to check it with the other side. So negative 5 times negative 9 minus 1, right? The negative 5x minus 1, that's 45 minus 1, which is 44. They both check out. This is a good answer. Okay, x equals to negative 9. So you can see how these are considered the more advanced log equations because, number one, solving for them in general takes more effort. You're going to have to factor, okay? But then you're going to have to check two different equations, right? It's not so simple like the other ones, and not to say the other ones were super easy, but they would be considered easier compared to these, right? There's a lot more steps that we have to go through in order to do these. So just as usual, as I tell you guys, take your time. Don't rush through these things. Make sure that you're doing the right amount of work, right? Don't try to rush through them because if you do, then you just got to start all over. Okay? I can recall when I was in college, I would do some of these problems, and sometimes, I'd work through them real quick, and some of my problems used to take 2 to 3 pages, and I'm talking front and back. Okay? And then at the end, you find out you're wrong. And it's like, that's not good. Like, I know I got to double check my work, right? Now, you don't have to do that here, that many pages, but it's good to double check your work as you're working. Okay, don't rush through it. So that one is one of the problems that I'm doing for you guys from your homework. It does involve factoring, okay, and it does involve checking as usual. Okay, always check your answer. So yeah, our answer was right here. Okay, that's B. All right. So let's check the next problem here. Number 4. So I have log of 11. Again, I'm just writing it over again because I don't want to mark up the main problem. We're not going to be able to see the answers and stuff. So I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay. Again, notice that they both have a log base 11, which means that the logs are the same. So that means that I can set the insides equal to each other, right? So 18 plus x squared equals 2x squared plus 3x. All right. Now let's combine like terms. I'm going to move everything over to the right. Okay, I'm going to subtract x squared. I'm also going to subtract 18 at the same time. Okay, let's just try doing 2 steps at the same time. So on the left side, I'm going to get 0. Over here, I'm going to get x squared plus 3x minus 18. Again, if you don't like to do 2 steps at once, feel free to do them in 2 steps. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Usually, once I teach Math 3, I assume that you guys can do this stuff faster. I always like to show my steps, but at some point, it's like, okay, like we don't have to hold your hand that much anymore, right? Like you should be able to do 2 steps at once. So here we go. On top, negative 18. On the bottom, a 3. What 2 numbers do I use? Negative 3, positive 6. Thank you. Those are going to give me a positive 3 and a negative 18 when I multiply, right? A positive 3 when I add. So 0 equals x minus 3, x plus 6. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up two mini problems here. Okay, x minus 0, x plus 6 equal to 0. So if I add 3 on both sides in the first one, I'm going to get x equals 3. If I subtract 6, I get x equals negative 6. So now I got two answers. But remember, I got to check them right here and right there, right inside the 18 plus x squared and the 2x squared plus 3x. I got to check them out. So let's make sure they work. Okay? So check. We're going to start off with the 3. 18 plus 3 squared, that's 18 plus 9. That's 27, so that's good. Plugging in the 3 in the other one, 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3, that's 2 times 3 squared is 9, that's 18 plus 9, that's also 27, so we're good. So x equal 3 works just fine. Now let's check negative 6. So 18 plus negative 6 squared, that's 18 plus 36. So that's 54. That looks good. Okay. Now plug it into the other one, 2x squared plus 3x. So 2 times negative 6 squared plus 3 times negative 6. That's negative 6 squared is 36 times 2 is 72 minus 18 is 54. That checks out as well. So both answers work. Now I don't know if any of the examples I'm going to do for you guys are going to have a no solution, but if they do, it's because both answers do not work. Okay, so if there's a no solution, maybe they don't work at all. Okay, let me see. We'll do that one. I'm just checking to see what's available. Those are actually not that hard, so I think the hardest ones are the ones we've done right now. These right here shouldn't be too bad. Okay. All right. So now you guys remember how, let me rewrite this. Log base 8 of negative 3x minus log base 8 of 5 is equal to log base 8 of 31. You guys remember expanding and condensing? Okay? Whenever you have a minus in between logs, that means you got to divide, right? So this is log base 8 of negative 3x over 5 and log base 8 of 31, because the minus makes you divide. Now since both logs are the same, then I can set these things equal to each other. So let me go ahead and move this over here. This will be negative 3x over 5 equals 31. So in order to start solving, let's multiply by 5, right? Let's get that 5, multiply it. So that's negative 3x equal to, that's 5, 155. And then we'll divide by negative 3. So what is that going to be? Well, it's going to be negative. I know that for sure. That's going to be 3 into 15 goes 5. So 15. It's not going to actually divide evenly. So you can't divide 155 by 3, because if you add the numbers 155, they add up to 11. 11 is not divisible by 3, so you cannot divide 155 by 3. So there's your answer. Notice there is no no solution problem here, which means that you probably don't have to check it, since there's only one answer that matches. Okay? So always look at that. If there isn't a no solution option, and the only option that you have is there, then go ahead and pick it. You could plug it in if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, you don't need to. in this case. So we're done with that one. I'm trying to figure out why my sweater keeps making this thing move. I don't know why. Pick up my hand a bit, or pick up my sleeve. So are we okay with that one? A lot easier than the previous ones, right? No need to factor, nothing like that. So that was nice. What do we do with the logs when you see a plus in there? You what? Yeah, multiply them, right? So log base 3 of 5. I'm just going to write it out again. Plus log base 3 of x plus 8 is equal to 2. Now, there's two things you should note here. We have log base 3 and log base 3 on the left side, but I don't have a log base 3 on the right side. I'm going to have to make it pop up. We did that the other day, okay? It was a little trick that we did. But also note that I can combine the left side, log base 3 of 5 times x plus 8 equal to, and the 2 has to have a log base 3 of, anybody remember how to write this out? What was it? Do you guys remember how to do that? Remember, it was a little trick, right? It was this one. 3 squared, yeah. You're supposed to make it match the base and then write the number that was on the end as its power. All right, so thank you. So yeah, that's how you trick the problem. Now, since they both say log base 3, let's set up our equation here. I have 5 times x plus 8 equals to 3 squared. Let me multiply. That's 5x plus 40 equals to 9. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Subtract 40. So 5x is equal to negative 31. And then divide by 5. So negative 31 over 5. Notice there's no solution, and the only option that's there is my answer. So there you go. I don't have to check it in that case. Again, nothing too difficult except for this little piece right here. Okay, you had to get a little creative with that, but it wasn't that bad. We've done that already, so we got one more to go, and then we did half of the homework, okay? So again, I know this is kind of taking a while, but these problems take a little bit of time, so I think it's better we kind of cover a good amount for you guys so you're not doing so many on your own. So here we go. Last one. You see a plus there, which means you should be multiplying, okay? So let me just rewrite. Log base 3 of 4 plus log base 3 of 4x squared equals to, let's just take a shortcut really quick. Instead of 2, I'm going to write log base 3 of 3 squared. That way everything matches already. Now let's multiply 4 times 4x squared. That's 16x squared. So log base 3 of 16x squared equals to log base 3 of 3 squared would be 9. Okay, and now let's just set them equal to each other. So 16x squared equals to 9. We'll divide by 16. Put that over here. Equal to 9 over 16. And if I take a square root of both sides, okay, so I'm going to do that. So x is equal to plus or minus, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 16 is 4. So there you go. Two different answers. You can see them right here. Part A. Alright, so the rest of the problems are for you guys to do. If you do have any questions, please make sure you ask. Okay, we have until tomorrow night to turn all this stuff in.